What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Letting Go podcast. I think it's our first episode where we've officially rebranded from
Yeah,
dropping into letting go. I'm here with my man Danny Torres. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, dude. I mean, this whole rebrand thing is pretty exciting, and honestly, I think I feel more like stoked about the podcast in general now that it feels more aligned with this direction that we've wanted to go in for so long.
Me too. It's a new project we're doing. We Danny and I really believe in the philosophy of letting go. Letting go can be applied to so many things, but generally, letting go of your attachments to the past, finding what makes you happy today. It's kind of a philosophy that has been helping us both find a lot of happiness lately.
Yeah, so much so that we both got it tattooed on our wrists.
Yeah,
Arms.
the video watchers can see that right there. And we've got a special episode today. It's actually the first one we've really planned out, where we're going to be talking about a bunch of different creative hobbies and just like little creative things that you can do by yourself if you want, or with people if you want. And these are things that are so fun and fulfilling, but it's kind of surprising because they're so simple. And I'm really excited to share them with you guys. These are like some of my favorite things to do in life that have helped me kind of find my creative flow and the things that I like to do. And they're just kind of meditative and fun and expressive, and they help you understand yourself and just, express.
That's very true. I kind of like how I feel like this episode is so necessary to have just because of like the journeys that we've recently kind of embarked on, where we're just kind of throwing stuff at the wall, kind of trying to see what sticks. And I don't know about you, but for me, this has been like almost like transformative in a way. It's been I kind of feel like a kid, just like doing all these different things that I want to try out, things I want to see, like what it is that I like to do, and it feels fun, feels cool. So I'm excited to get right into it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Last thing I'll say before we jump into the specifics and before you take that huge tequila shot, is that, yeah, I really agree. And, you know, personally, I really get set in my ways, and I've always am doing something creative, but sometimes I'll stick to one creative thing for so long
Yeah.
that I forget I can be a beginner at others. And just allowing yourself to experiment and tinker and try out these different mediums can be so freeing, and you can find a new passion. Um, with that said, let's jump right into it after we plug our Patreon, where if you choose to support us, you can hop on a monthly Zoom call where we can talk about things like creative passions and philosophies and different things on our monthly
Dude,
Zoom
that
call.
would be a really fun Zoom call, just like talking like basically about what we're going to talk about today. And I don't know, shit's fucking cool.
Yeah.
So dude, something that I have gotten really intensely into is drawing. And I know that this is something that you've been doing for quite some time, but I okay, so you inspired me to start drawing because of the fact that you designed our tattoo. And it was like I started thinking, it's like, whoa, that's so fucking sick. Like I can do that probably. Like I want to try doing that. And I've been starting to draw, and it's so meditative. Like I just sit there and draw. I look at the online, I look up doodles, and I kind of just try to copy them and see how I can like do it visually. And before I know it, like an hour has gone by and I've just got like a whole page of doodles.
That's beautiful. And personally, I love hearing how excited you are about drawing. Like I sense your childlike excitement
Yeah, for
for
sure,
it.
dude. Dude, I'm
Which is
fucking
so
loving
cool.
it, bro. I mean, for the video viewers, like peep these flowers that I drew recently.
Very nice, man.
Yeah, dude. I'm digging it. It's just been super fucking fun to just let myself go and just do it, you know what I mean? And I've really just like leaned into the fact that I'm a complete beginner at drawing, so I don't feel bad if it looks like shit. And it's kind of just inspiring see the change as it's gone by, because the first couple of drawings I did were complete ass, and like now those flowers are looking much better.
Yeah, that's sick. There's so much pressure in this life to like pick your things you're good at and master them and just do that. And it's so nice to remember that you can be a beginner at something totally new, and you can experience that rush of that like initial progression when you start to figure it out. Shit, man, I've been drawing for a while, but I've actually more recently like had a epiphany with drawing. But my backstory is that kind of always been a doodler in my notebook. I actually took a drawing class in high school that I really enjoyed, and then took a drawing class my senior year of college. I had like an open slot on the schedule, and dude, that class was so sick. We would pretty much on the first day we started drawing naked models who would like be paid to stand up in the middle of class.
That's wild.
And it was so strange, but also like not. It was like everyone was doing it. It was mad mature, and you know, our professor would teach us about like using our eye, drawing what we see instead of what we imagine, you know, focusing on like shadows and things like that. So I kind of, you know, am grateful for this like baseline of skill I have. And then what happened to me more recently, you know, aside from the doodles I do in my journal once in a while, is I was like, oh shit, like, okay, the tattoo kicked it off. I was like, actually, all my tattoos, I always come in with a drawing, and I ask the tattoo artist to kind of tweak it. But then for our tattoo, I was like, wait, I like this design I drew so much. Why don't I just get this tattooed exactly?
And I wasn't fucking with it, dude. Like, I don't know why. Like, I thought it was like too like, I don't even know what the right word is. Like, it just looked too like sissy for me, I think. And I was like, nah, I think I just want like the letters, like, you know, bold letters, just fucking homework style, like how you put your name on top of the fucking paper and like just say let go, whatever. And then the fucking second that the dude finished doing yours, I was like, oh my fucking God, dude. Internally, I said that. And then I was like, I literally just said, I want that one. Like,
that's all. Yeah.
Like, don't worry about drawing another one. That's the one I fucking want.
I was so happy when you walked over and said that too, because we were getting matching tattoos, but they were going to be slightly different, which I fully accepted. But I was, you know, it would have been cooler if they were the same, and then you ended up getting the same one.
Dude, and while you were getting yours, I'm sitting on the couch, like, I was sitting there, like still looking at the fonts, like, oh shit, dude, like, should I change mine? Like, I wasn't like set, like I didn't know for sure, and I was gonna sit down and I was just gonna, I had accepted that it was gonna be one of those moments where like I didn't know, and I'm sure it would have looked cool either way because he was a good tattoo artist, but I don't know, dude, it was this thing just happened inside of me. I was like, damn. And then now when I look at it, like, it's so cool to have your drawing like on my body.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm so stoked. I'm stoked we both have this one, and you know, that gave me this sense of confidence with drawing that I didn't really allow myself to find. It's like, you know, I was a skateboarder, a video creator. Those were the things I was good at. So I always like kind of denigrated like my ability to draw as like a random thing I did. Yeah. But seeing this, I was like, oh shit, like I could design tattoos. Like I can do that. Like, there's no reason not to. And what such a freeing feeling, you know, to not only can you try these creative hobbies, like you can share them, even if you're a beginner, like it doesn't matter. And so then more recently, I took that energy and I made the art for this podcast, which is like a really cool feeling, man, because obviously like, I didn't get paid for it, but like it's technically I just drew for my job, like for this creative project, which is like, I don't know, it's something, it's not in my definition of myself that I had previously, you know, which is it's freeing.
And I will say, George, you fucking slayed it on the podcast art, so much so that, I mean, you inspired me even to put that as my own personal podcast art. And you even like got me to like tinker around with it on my own, on like with like the fonts and like whatever was gonna look good with the art for my own personal thing. And like, dude, now I saw yesterday I walked by a Chipotle and there was a dude in there drawing on a tablet, kind of like you have, and I was like, fuck, dude, like now I want one. Like now, dude, I want to do that fucking shit, you know?
Yeah. So so my tablet is just like, it's just black, and like I need to look at the computer screen. I really wish I had an iPad with like a pencil so I could see it on the screen as I'm drawing.
Yeah.
Um, one day maybe I'll make that investment.
For sure. Um, but yeah, dude, I don't know if I feel like the whole childlike thing I feel is coming out in like all of these new uh, avenues of creating that I'm journeying through.
Yes, yes, and I feel them too. You know, like making that podcast art. I don't know. It was so. I don't know. It was fun. My voice is getting higher pitched because it's like it's hitting a spot. You know. I'll say for anyone who wants to try out the drawing thing, one of my favorite things to do is to like look at something. Like sometimes I'll go sit in the park or on the roof and try to draw the skyline or like a tree or the landscape or whatever. When I don't know what to draw, that's what I'll do. I'll just pick something with my eyes, and it can be very meditative.
That's great advice. I will say for me, it's a little bit harder because I don't think I have that muscle where I can just like pick something to draw, at least not yet. So my advice is I Google black and white doodles, and then I go on Google Images, and then there's like some stuff. It's like a page of just like 100 little tiny doodles, like coffee cups, microphones, like hats, journals, books, like all this stuff. And then I go through, and then I practice like drawing them, and that for me has been super helpful. Like even like I looked up one that was like it was an alien, like mountains, like tents, suns and stuff.
Dude, that's a sick page.
Yeah, I mean, for the people watching this who can see it, but like look at that: milk carton, cherries, martini glass, Band-Aid, cactus, camera, jars. Like just looking up shit and just drawing it as I see it, and that's helping a lot. And I can like feel it. Like I can feel this part of my brain working that I don't usually use, because it's like it's very like I don't know, like I'm just staring and looking, like this.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of like that.
It's like mapping sight to arm movement, hand movement. What else about drawing? Anything else about drawing, or should we move on?
I think so far, in terms of drawing, Kara actually got us these like easels to paint on. So it comes with 2 canvases. And so that's something that now I'm looking for, because I feel like at first it sounds like a cool idea, but I don't know what the fuck to draw. But now that I'm like kind of working out that part of my brain, it's like now I'm excited to paint something. Because like, cool. I know it will look less like shit than it would have before.
Wow, painting. Painting is something I've still never tried.
Dude, they have like, you could just go, you and Noah should just go to like a paint and sip, and you like drink wine and paint, and
that sounds like a really good idea.
I know they have them in the city. I've seen them before.
Yeah. It's funny, like, I'm immediately intimidated by the idea, but, like, the whole philosophy of what this episode is about would suggest me to just go try it.
Dude, I want to be that dude that just, like, shows up at a park with, like, an easel and a canvas and just, like, fucking starts painting some shit.
Dude, I respect the shit out of that.
That'd be wild. But I guess in terms of, we could talk about something else we do in these little journals.
Ooh, yes.
Journals.
We'd be writing in those.
I'd be writing. I'd be journaling. I'd be stream of consciousness up in there sometimes.
So yeah, number 2 on our list, something that Danny and I do a lot, is writing in our journals. Man, I've been doing this one for a long time, and it's one of those creative hobbies that really, really helps me feel grounded, and like I understand myself, and I just have fun with it.
Yeah, dude, journaling is also something I've been doing for a really fucking long time. But I always fall off. I've only finished, I think, like a couple of journals, maybe a few, but I usually fall off, and then I'll go like 6 months without journaling. And then I'm like in such a different place where I'm like, I should just get a new journal. Like, I don't want to write in this one because I feel like I'm in a different, just like mental headspace. But I will say that when I am journaling, like it's phenomenal, dude. It's something that like people say to do it, and you're like oh fuck, like I don't want to journal, like that's not gonna make me feel better. But like fucking journaling, just it helps so much to just like be in that present moment and like really be in it and like see what thoughts you have, thoughts that arise. I
Yeah,
think it's awesome.
it really is helpful for the self. I mean, I'm not a fall offer on the journal. I've been journaling like almost every day for many years now, and I can't
That's
recommend
sick.
it enough. And I think when you hear journaling, you think of like maybe diary entries or self exploration. But since we're talking about creative hobbies, and this is something I do sometimes, like sometimes I try to write for fun and to be artistic, like
Yeah,
sometimes I'll write little poems, which is
same.
awesome.
I've been getting into
Um,
that.
yeah, a lot of times actually, what I really like and fits in with the ethos of this episode is like I'll just like kind of write down philosophical thoughts I'm having, and then later I'll actually use that in like a TikTok or like
That's cool.
or I'll write it down for maybe like using later in like a voice overlay or something. Um, the journal seems to be where I get like my deeper ideas like seem to just flow out of me.
I love that. Yeah, no, for sure. I've recently have been getting in more and more into. Usually, my journaling for a long time was just like for a long time I did the scrapbook journaling, where I would put shit into my journals. If I went to like a restaurant I liked, I'd grab a business card, put it or tape the receipt or something like that, and write about what I did that day or what happened. And then I've changed throughout the year, so just like the thoughts and stuff or like whatever's in my mind or like random shit. But lately I've just been really leaning into doing a whole lot of everything in my journal so that when I look through it, it's like there's random shit in there. There's like stuff I'm reading about, stuff that's on my mind, random like poems and stuff like that. And in terms of like the artistic side of it or the creative side of it, it feels like I'm working that same exact muscle that I'm working when I'm drawing or even like when I'm making a video or trying to plan a video or something. Like it feels very like I don't know, like in tune with everything that I that I already do.
That's cool, man. And yeah, for me, oh man, I could go on and on about journaling. In fact, so my main philosophy is not to force anything. Like that's when, like, I allow myself to write poems, journal entries, self exploration, whatever it is. There's no rules. Just let it happen. That's how I stay on journaling because it's always
Mm-hmm.
fresh and exciting. One thing that's happening, and it's almost similar to what I experienced with the drawing, is that it's expanding my idea of what I'm capable of. And so I continue to have this question arise while I'm writing. I'm like, oh shit, like, should I eventually turn this into a book? Like, or should I just write a book? And whether or not I pursue that idea, it's like, man, it's so fucking cool that journaling has helped me like unlock and realize like this is a creative thing I really enjoy doing. And maybe something I really want to harness one day, in a serious format like a book.
Oh, for sure, dude. And you get that shit from your dad, like
Yeah.
without a doubt, without a doubt. And that's cool. I think that's super cool. And it's interesting because I think that I get my love of writing, or at least being like kind of okay at it, from my dad as well. Because my dad's a full on finance guy, but he's like very like well read, and he loves writing, but he likes writing notes and like letters to people, and they're like beautifully crafted.
That's so
Well, I will
awesome.
say his grammar's not on point. Um,
Who cares?
but but like he like dude, one time for like New Year's, like he gave like me and my sister and our current significant others at the time, like he gave us all this book, and on the inside of the book he wrote like this really long passage like tailored individually to each of us. And
That's
like
very nice.
while I never read the book because I don't really care for the book, the the stuff that he wrote in it, it was like the important thing about it, and it was just like awesome. So
That's really
stoked
cool.
that that's a thing too in my life.
That's really cool. Yeah, I also really enjoy particularly writing letters to my significant others, and that could tie into journaling. You know, just I want to rattle out some ideas for those listening. If you want to get into journaling, there's so many things you could try. You could try open stream of consciousness, just whatever comes to your mind. You could try guided routines. Like there's so many guided journaling routines out there that ask you little prompts that you could follow. Um, you could try diary entry style, where you write about what you experienced that day. Um, there's so many things you could do with a journal. Oh, one thing I wanted to bring up, I used to do this. I would like, when I would find a song I really liked, I would like, especially like more poetic songs where the lyrics were kind of not immediately obvious what was going on. I would write all the lyrics in my journal and like try to like analyze it, because I loved those like classes I took in college where we were like trying to really figure out what the author meant in the text.
Oh yeah,
And so I would kind of do that with songs, and I used to have a lot of fun with that,
yeah. It's actually a good idea. I think I want to do that. Kind of going like off topic, something that I've recently started doing, which is, I've done this before. It's nothing crazy, but you got me into Shazaming, and
Like music?
now I Shazam. I downloaded the app. I had it like years ago. I mean, I've had it like 3 different times, but now I'm like really enjoying it just because like I think there's like this aspect of like presentness that's happening when I do that. It's like I feel like I'm more in tune with my surroundings. So like if I hear a song, it's like, oh fuck, I want to know what that is. I like this lyric idea. I think I'm gonna start doing that.
Cool, man. Hey, that actually reminds me of kind of, I'll slide in another, this could be considered like a whole nother creative hobby, which is something I do, which is whenever I find a song, I add it to a playlist of the current season. So right now I'm building a 2022 spring playlist. And so anytime a song jumps at me, it doesn't matter why, when, or where, I'll add it to that playlist. So then at the end of the season, I actually have this like almost memory log in a way of all the music that I resonated with. And
Is
that's
the
kind of
season
a
thing new? Is that new?
yes. I
Because
used to do
you used to do the months, and I know, dude. June 2020, bro.
Is that a good one?
Dude, I don't remember exactly, but June 2020 was that month that we spent the entire month, literally. I think every single day on
Just
your
on the
roof.
Yeah.
On your in between your roof and my roof, like we just spent almost every single day, and we would listen to all these songs. And I just remember like, oh, I'm gonna put that on my playlist. I'm gonna put that on my playlist. I feel like June 22 is, you should revisit that playlist.
I'll bump that tonight.
Dude, I think are these playlists public?
They're all public.
Oh,
At George
shit,
Poulos on Apple Music.
dude. No, but that's a great idea too. I don't know if I can get too much into doing that because I'm not a huge music listener. Like when I'm by myself, or like
Right.
honestly, no, I'm not really much of a big music listener in general. But I don't know. Maybe one day I'll feel called to make playlists. But I do know I mean, even that in itself could be somewhat of an artistic pursuit because of the crafting that it takes.
That's what I'm saying. I think it is. Like, I think it's a form of art. Like, people say like curating is creating or something like that.
Oh, for sure. No, yeah, dude. 100%. Honestly, oh, dude, you have to listen to the solo podcast I uploaded today. Like, you have to.
I'll bet.
When
Okay,
we're done, because that's what I talked about. It's like called like why everyone is a natural creator and how to spark the natural creator in you. It's a quick 15-minute listen.
That's fire. Was that inspired by the Artist Way at all?
No, I actually haven't even started the book yet. I've had a lot of stuff going on at home. Kara just got surgery, so I've kind of been paying attention to that. But no, I definitely want to get started on it soon. Also, I started reading Courage is the Way.
I haven't read that.
Yeah, I started, dude. It's $1.99 on Kindle or audio or ebooks. So I just downloaded it just to have it, and it's kind of a tough read, but anyway. But yeah, the artist ways, I'll definitely get started on that. But what the fuck was I just saying?
Shit, man.
What? How do we get to that?
Oh, we were talking about curation as creation.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I 100% find that to be true. And I'll just talk about it here. Like everything is built on this idea of creating. And it's like I'm looking out the window right now, and there's a business, you know what I mean? And the business had to be created. There had to be a business plan. There had to be like some form of like advertising, and even advertising is an art of its own. You know what I mean? Like I'm not good at advertising. Some people are good at advertising, and it takes like a strategy and everything. Even dude, roads, streets, like everything has been engineered or created in some way, and whether it's on this aspect of like art or things that are like aesthetically like right. fulfilling, there's this whole other form of creation that is like scientific and mathematical, which is also beautiful in its own sense, because I mean math is incredible. I mean, I'm not a huge math guy, but like the concept of math and science is incredible. And then there's this whole other way that you can visit creation.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's just what people do. We just create. We're either creating new things or moving things around. I feel like I haven't thought this through, but maybe like every job you could think of boils down to one of those two things.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure every aspect of it, everything. I don't know. I think that we are deeply like intrinsic, like, how do I put it? Like it is. I think it's like deeply instilled in us to have this desire to create in some form or in some sense of the word, whatever that may be.
Yeah, I mean, I can vouch for that, just because of how all these things that we're listing out, all these creative hobbies, like doing them makes me feel like this spiritual connectedness. So that's my own reason to believe what you're saying, that we're inherently creators.
Yeah, for sure. I'm telling you, check out the solo pod. I know this is I'm doing a shameless plug right now, but no, for sure, I think you'll like it, because there's a topic I talk about in there that I want you to hear. Okay. About my life personally.
Word.
But
yeah. And check out my solo pod of the journal video.
Oh, dude, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I did a whole one talking about journaling.
Dude, there is no shameless plug here when it comes to our own things, because this is ours. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yes.
If this was like the George Poulos thing and I was like plugging my shit, like it'd be different, or the Danny Torres thing. But still, I mean, we can.
Yeah. This podcast is the embodiment of following your flow.
For sure.
Being us, which is nice.
100%. But dude, let's talk about number 4.
Okay, wait. Before we do that, I just wanted to shout out photo albums. That's curation as is creation. Like I think of my parents' photo albums.
Oh yeah, dude.
That they would show me growing up. That's art.
Dude, everything. Fucking scrapbooking, like grandma scrapbooking type shit, not like how people do it today. Like, I mean, that's old. People have been scrapbooking forever, dude.
Exactly. All right, now let's get to 4.
Film photography.
Let's fucking go.
I feel like right now you're more in tune right now with that medium, but I think a lot of people don't know that I went to school for film photography for 2 years. I was in photo labs developing and printing 35 millimeter medium format and large format photography, or film rather. But it's not really a part of my life anymore. I have been wanting to get back into it. I actually wrote it down in my journal as one of the things I want to buy, and that's to buy some film. But I know that you are heavy into it right now, so I want to hear what that's doing for you.
Yeah, man. So, it's one of those things that kind of just fell into my lap. Ended up with like an old film camera, shot my first roll, and really loved the experience of it. I think interestingly with film photography, I actually I initially feel this like fear of being judged, because it's very popular right now. It's kind of like the hipster Brooklyn thing to do right now, to carry around a film camera. And so many of these things that are just genuinely fun and fulfilling can carry that weird fear of judgment. So had got to get over that. So, what I've been doing lately is bringing out the film camera on walks, and I do film walks, and I bring them on like trips and to experiences like parties that I just want to kind of capture in this analog way.
Yeah,
and
I love that.
dude, it just is so fun. It is so fun, and there's such a satisfaction of the delay between taking the photo and seeing it.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're also, I feel like I'm getting to flex this photography muscle that I've incidentally learned by having an iPhone, in kind of more of a, I don't know, official capacity.
Yeah.
And
I think
awesome.
the photographer, okay, so your film photography started in quarantine, right? Beginning of quarantine,
Yes.
like right before quarantine, maybe.
Yes.
I remember, and I love that. And I will say, I think for me personally, like I said, I used to do this years and years ago. I'm talking like 2016. It's a long time ago. But me personally, and I have this like, and for a long time I've had this like desire in me that is about capturing those like photographic moments. So much so that you've even said to me before, like you love just like, I don't know how you said it, but like something like you love just getting those like random photos. And I remember when you and I started skating together, I would always be snapping pics of you.
Yeah.
And I had an album in my iPhone that just was called George, because we hung out all the fucking time, and I was always catching you doing some weird ass shit, and two, because that goes along with the, I don't know if it's the desire to create, but also with my desire to create, there's this desire of like capturing moments that I come across, which is in a way similar to these playlists that you create, because they bring you back. And it's interesting because that desire for me kind of like, I wouldn't say it completely disappeared, but it kind of got pushed back a little bit. But your love of like film photography, like in present day, has again inspired me to want to continue taking photos. So now, like when I go on walks, I don't take my film camera, but I go on my phone and I snap 1 to 3 photos maybe. It's not like I don't have rules, but trying to take a lot so I don't get stuck deleting and like checking all these photos. Just take like 1 or 2 and 3 and move on. And then after the walk, I look through them, and it's just whatever in that moment that like really striked me as like beautiful in some way. Now I have it, and then I post it to Instagram just because it's fun on my second Instagram. But I feel like I'm kind of working that same muscle that you're talking about again, and it's made me also feel like creatively fulfilled to do something like that.
That's really cool, man. And yeah, like, what seems to happen for me when I let go and allow myself to have fun with these new mediums is they find ways to integrate into the creative career I'm building. So for example, the drawing ended up manifesting in this podcast art. The film photos, I end up using a lot of them in my vlogs, like my travel vlogs. I'll sprinkle in the film photos.
Yeah. And I love that, dude. I love that. Your editing style when it comes to that shit. I don't know if you've watched some of my recent videos, and even a little bit in the past, you got me to start doing that with like the fucking like the background, like a pastel colored background or some kind of shit. The photo with like a little bit of space on the top and the bottom feels very scrapbooky, and then like couple seconds, sometimes like even just like fast, maybe like a second or so, and it just goes through all those photos. It feels very yearbook-esque to me.
Yes.
And I fucking love it, dude. And now like that's the direction that I kind of want to move towards when I make videos. Is, I don't know, dude, it's art. I don't know, it's fucking weird. It feels so cool though.
Yeah, no, it's exactly everything we're talking about all combined. The capturing of memories, the curation of memories into a cohesive thing. That's a lot of what creating is. And all the things we've mentioned so far, drawing, writing, film photography, the playlist curation, they can all be used in that way to capture and then later, put together into a cohesive thing,
Dude, I mean, fucking 100%, dude. That I just showed those photos that I drew. I mean, those pictures that I drew of those flowers that I drew. And now I'm making a YouTube video about how I preserve flowers for my journals.
Yes.
And me drawing the flowers inspired me to want to start collecting flowers again, because I used to do this in the past, and then putting them in a journal, which we also talked about journaling and forms of journaling. It's like all interconnected, and it all pushes that like artistic form out.
If you consider the perspective of flipping through that journal and looking at that drawing of those flowers 15 years from now, suddenly then it's more obvious that that's art, because that's a really nice one. For the audio only listeners, Danny is showing me a flower in his journal. It's more obvious that the thing you're writing down in your journal is art when you consider it from how is it going to feel when you look at it in 10, 15, 20 years,
Yeah, for sure.
So it's important not to judge yourself in the moment and not to be stuck on making everything good. This can happen in all of these mediums. When I'm walking around taking film photos, sometimes I'm like putting pressure on myself to make each photo like amazing.
Oh, I feel you, yeah.
But really the best photos come out when you just like capture what you're excited about, and when you fire the shutter when you're just excited to.
Yeah, I feel you heavy, because I feel that a lot when I journal, even like when collecting these flowers. Like, it's like, oh, what if they look like shit later on? Or like when I journal, it's like, what if somebody, like, I don't know why I started things like, what if somebody like looked at my journal and what I wrote wasn't that good? It's like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, it's not like that.
Yeah. This is kind of, oh, that's nice, man. Got those fall leaves still. What's funny? This is mad random, but I put some pumpkin spice in my oatmeal this morning.
Ooh.
And the whiff like suddenly brought me back to that feeling of fall, like just starting to hit.
That's sick.
Which was interesting. And yeah, about the journaling thing, I was going to say, sometimes I write about people because I just want to like figure shit out in my head, and I'll like hold myself back because I'm scared they're going to see it.
I feel you, yeah. I've done that. I've also done that before too. Like if I ever journal about like relationships and stuff like that.
Right. Shit. Should we go to the next one?
Yeah, let's hit up the next one. Starting a podcast.
Yeah, man. So this is something you should all try. And I could say from firsthand experience, starting this podcast with Danny, this is literally what we're doing. We've started this podcast as a creative kind of experiment to have some fun, to see how we like it, how it goes. And it's been such a freeing process, man.
No, I love it, dude. I mean, we missed last week, was it?
We skipped last week, yeah.
We skipped last week, and while it was okay, like I don't really mind taking a break, like I also felt like I kind of, in a sense, missed it, because I do enjoy it, and I do get like another form of this like creating that I don't get elsewhere. So I think that really showed me that this is something that's really fulfilling to me.
Conversation as creation.
Yeah, there you go.
How
dude, fucking dancing, like
yeah.
there's so much shit. But
shit.
I also like the idea that like literally anybody could start a podcast. Like us starting a podcast together is one thing, but then us starting our separate solo pods is a whole nother thing. Like I think people, if you want to talk about like listens and viewership and all that shit, like I feel like people might be more inclined to listen to both of us together as opposed to like by ourselves. But like I think the fact that like we're just like fuck it, like
Right.
I want to do my own thing, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, I have like fucking four listeners, and I'm like jazzed. Like, I
Yeah.
love it. You know what I mean? Like that, I love that so much more than having thousands and thousands of people. You know what I mean? Like, that's so much more fulfilling to me. I didn't even post about my solo pod on my main account yet. I only posted it on my second account because it feels more like real.
Right. Yeah. And you're finding, just those real connections, people who want to listen. And what I think is cool, and I'm having this interesting discovery, and it's that when you allow yourselves to try these creative things, it tends to snowball. Like, I think every single thing we've brought up has snowballed for me into something deeper. And so you just brought up, we both started our solo podcast, and we needed to dive into this podcast to realize that we could start a solo podcast too. It's like, you gotta try the damn thing. Like, if you're listening to this and you want to try something creative, like, what do you like? Whatever that goofy shit you talk about with your friends is, like, you guys can make it a podcast if it's exciting to you, and there's no reason not to, and it probably is gonna feel mad good.
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. I mean, I don't know, like fuck, bro. I don't know. Like, my mind just starts going on these, like, in all these different ways sometimes, because I start to feel so good about certain things that, like, I get really excited and, like, happy.
Yes.
And I think it's because of this, like, I don't know, all of these forms of creating have really done something to me that have really helped me out of, like, like, for example, my, like, being in a poor mental state, you know what I mean? Which, if we want to get into the next thing, is walking and exercising, which is something that people have been telling me to do for fucking years. Closest friends, family, therapists, everybody. And I always didn't want to fucking do it. And now even that has become like a form of expression, kind of, or like a form of, like, creating, because it's like I can go a different way each time if I so please.
Yes.
And it becomes a whole new path, and I get to see all these new things, and I'm taking it in. And if I bring my journal to journal, I can journal a whole new thing. If I want to pick up flowers, I see all these new flowers I never saw before, and I get to pick those and keep them and put them in a journal. And it's another thing that has been deeply fulfilling for me.
Yes. It's crazy, man, but I'm sitting here and I'm telling the listeners that going for a walk is an artistic practice. It's a creative practice. I agree with everything you're saying. There's something about this is more of an ambiguous one. It's not like, you're not like putting something on the page or recording something, but there's something about going for walks that just feels so good. And it's like, so for me, when I go on walks, I like to think. And I like to work through my thoughts, and I don't know, in a way I get to, like, sort them in a way that's pleasing to me and find a configuration of my thoughts that feels good. So that can be seen as a creation, the organization of thoughts that happens on a walk. But shit, man, going on walks is amazing.
Dude, I love it so much. And, like, for example, Ryan, my longtime best friend and your now roommate, known Ryan since I was 11 years old, dude. He has been telling me for the longest time to go on fucking walks. And every time and now when I talk to him and I'm like, oh, I just got back from a walk or something, he's like, feels good, doesn't it? I'm like, fuck you, dude. But yeah, there's something really special about going on walks. So much so that, like, I feel like I could go for a walk anywhere. I don't have to go for a walk in, like, a beautiful park or, like, a beautiful area. I just feel like going outside and, like, experiencing whatever area I'm in the moment, like, is pretty incredible for me. I mean, it helps that I live, in San Francisco and you live in New York, which are, like, very aesthetically pleasing cities, but I don't know, it feels great, like just going outside and feeling the air, and
Yeah.
it inspires me. I went on a walk the other day, came home and filmed a video. Had no intentions to film a video whatsoever, but the walk inspired me to do so, and I got home, I filmed a whole ass fucking video.
Right. Walking, being outside, exercising, these can all fuel the creative muscle for other creative endeavors. And in a way, when you're on a walk out there in the world, you're probably either seeing man's creations, buildings, maybe murals, whatever, if you're in a city, or if you're in a more natural place, you're seeing nature's creations. So that shit is inspiring,
Yeah, for sure.
to see other people or nature's art.
Going on walks lately with this new thing that I've been doing, which is something George has already been doing, has been getting me to make these those TikToks where just set up the camera and like read for like 8 seconds, or like stare off into space, and then put like some deep philosophical or whatever text over it. So I started going on walks, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna bring my little tripod to put my phone on, and then if I feel inclined to do so, I will. And I'll go on a walk, and I come back with 3 videos. It's just they're like 3 7-second videos, but that gets me to post a TikTok and have a way to continue creating in a way that's new and different, which adds to that fulfilling thing that I so desperately need and look for and everything.
Yeah, man. Look, everyone. Making TikToks is an act of creation. It can seem like the trendy app, and the algorithms are certainly at play, but making TikToks is fun as shit. And what I like about it for me is that it's so easy. And I'm coming off of years of making these YouTube videos that were very difficult and took a long time to make. Now I can express myself in a total of like 15 minutes to make a TikTok. And yeah, I the format that you were describing is also what's most exciting to me right now. And I also want to add, if you already make TikToks, there's nothing stopping you from making different TikToks on a different account, or even on your same account. Like it feels so good to just let yourself free and try new things. And to steal Danny and I's format, man. I stole it from someone else.
You stole it from someone else. I stole it from you. I'm seeing it in many places now. I see a certain friend of mine doing it now in his skateboarding TikToks, and I think I'm gonna try it in a skate. Like, I'll just say who it is. It's Mowgli. Mowgli. I don't know if he directly is like because he sees you or me or us or other people doing it, but like he'll post like a skate trick. I remember one he posted the other day was like a 3-trick line or something over the entire screen. Like you can see the skating if you really look, but over it, like it says something like, and it said something about like the way I got to where I am is because I let myself fall and get up. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah,
but it's the same style, and it's cool.
I want to reiterate it for the listeners. The format of TikToks we're talking about is a very simple video. Usually Danny or I or whoever's making the TikTok is just kind of sitting there doing something, reading a book, journaling. I do a lot where I'm sipping a coffee, and then I leave room on the top for text where I can put a thought that I'm having, or even a quote from a book I'm reading. And you pair that to a cool song that matches the mood of the quote, and you just kind of made a miniature movie. Like you're sharing visuals with matching music and an idea that you want to transmit. And, here on the Letting Go podcast, we try not to get too much validation from the algorithms, but I've had 2 of my videos receive liking by the algorithm, which is, it feels
sick.
Good. I can't deny it. It feels good.
It's cool because it's more real. You know what I mean? It's like, it's cool because you're not searching for it. When we make one of these like skate TikToks, at least back then, It was like, it was more like, oh, I want to make this so that it does well. You know, I want to use a trending audio, and I want to hop on the trend of whatever people are doing under that audio. But I guess it feels good if something does well now, because it's like, oh, this is real. Like, somebody really, really enjoyed this. People enjoyed this. My videos are, some of them get like 30 views, but like, I'm more stoked on that than like a few thousand on my normal one,
Yeah.
because like real people are seeing it, you know?
I agree. Yeah, we're expressing ourselves very truthfully, so it that does feel good when it's received and someone leaves a nice comment, even if it's one person, you know.
It's funny that you mentioned the coffee sipping, because this video on my phone is me sipping a coffee yesterday, and I was like, yo, I gotta film it, like, for that purpose.
I took a video today where I was like just sitting in my running clothes, like looking kind of moody, because I want to talk about like this. I don't know. I've been feeling this intense craving to just like physically exert myself, and I don't know, just want to write a thought about it and share it. And it's simple.
Dude, I'm gonna film one that's like lit, like this, like super like
Just downing tequila.
For the audio only viewers, I have a ginormous bottle of tequila next to me.
That's Kirkland brand, straight from Costco.
Yeah, dude. So it's gonna be like a deeply philosophical like text with like a massive tequila bottle.
Yeah, man. And you know, I kind of feel this need to acknowledge that, like, I think we're moving out of a place of, you know, needing to make that money from our creations.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so paradoxically, I think when you let yourself free and try things, like, you can fall into a medium that is going to make you money. That's very possible. And, you know, you can even really intentionally manifest that and practice all these and figure out what you like and then make an artistic career out of it. But I think more what we're talking about in this episode is just what it does for your soul and your spirit, you know, to try all these things. And yeah, you know, like, I'm not really planning on making money off of this second TikTok, but there's just something about it that still feels really good.
I agree. I also have been loving the idea of like forming a new community.
Me too.
I actually was just thinking about this in the shower, like before I hopped on the podcast. While I am deeply appreciative and grateful for all the people who supported me throughout the years on the skate channel, and, you know, gave me a way to make money and a way to express myself in the way that I wanted to at that time, I definitely want to move towards a more like, I don't know if this is like weird to say, but like a more mature audience and like a more tight-knit community, which is why I love those TikToks and like the new Instagram and like even the podcast and stuff like that. It's like, I don't think like younger kids are like super into like listening to a podcast, you know what I mean? Like, this is like maybe geared towards like a little bit older demographic, at least 18 and above.
I think this is a pretty mature podcast, you know?
Yeah. So it's like that feels in itself good to me, because, and like, that's what I like about the monthly Zoom call that we have with our patrons. I mean, we've only had one, but I'm actually kind of looking forward to the next one, because, you know, they're not like children. And like,
you know, that's the homies right there. Like, they're interested in what we're talking about.
Exactly. So that feels so cool to me. And like I said, that I shouted out my solo pod to my second Instagram. It has, I don't know, like 90 followers, because they feel more like, I don't mean they're not real people, the other ones, but like, it just seems like more real to me.
Yeah, no, I'm going through something very similar. And, you know, to tie it back to the purpose of this podcast episode, it's like we needed to try to create those things in order to learn that we like this type of community. But yeah, to like, for me, it's like when I look through the comments on my skate channel, it's like no drip. Like, bro, what kind of wheels are those? Like, what size deck do you ride? And it's like, yeah, I'd like some deeper connections, and there's nothing wrong with that.
The depth is great, and I even have seen it more so like in like I've gotten like a couple of DMs on my second Instagram. This girl actually, I'm pretty sure it was a girl. She like I don't mean it that in a weird way. I can't remember who the person was, but this person, they messaged me on my second Instagram saying like, "Hey Danny, I work at a bagel shop in Brooklyn or in New York. If you come to New York, like I got you on that homie discount." And like that felt so fucking cool because like I mean they looked like a normal like a normal a person with like a brain,
Right.
you know, with a prefrontal cortex, and it was really cool that they were offering something like that because it feels more like, dude, the DMs on, I mean, you know, the DMs that we get on the professional page or whatever they're dumb.
Yeah.
And so dude, I honestly even like I honestly just love that it wasn't even I'll get you a free bagel. Like I love that it's like the homie discount. Like I don't know why, like even that in itself is just like, yo, that's so cool. Like I don't need a free fucking bagel or a free anything from you. I just like, that's cool that you're like offering to just give me like a discount at the bagel shop that you work at. Like that's so cool. I told Kara and she's like, fuck it, when we're in New York, let's go get bagels.
That's sick. Yeah, I'll pull up with you. Yeah, man,
sure.
it's something about when you create stuff and you put it out there and the stuff you're creating is authentic, then it's like then you find the people who are really connecting with you, and that's so awesome. You know? And that's why you
100%,
shouldn't be afraid to evolve, and I think we're both learning that. You shouldn't feel stuck in what you were creating in the past, because then you're going to keep finding people that clicked with your past self, but you're interested in different things now.
Yeah, I mean, this is me now. You know what I mean? Like this
Right.
is, and I love that. I wrote something earlier because today I was like fixing up my solo Patreon, and I don't even know if I'm able to see that, but I wrote something. Oh, here it says, throughout the last 4 years, I've gone through many transformations as a quote unquote creator, and I think it's safe to say that I'm still trying to find out exactly what that means, and I hope to build a community for myself to lean on while I figure that out. And that's what I like about what we're doing here, because it's like I feel like I'm learning so much more about like who I am, what I want to do, where I want to go, and I love having like a space to do that with there still being people who support us, whether that's like monetarily or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, man, we've been hitting that 200 views, and we're speaking from the heart. That's sick.
Dude, our I looked at our Anchor analytics like all time, and they're pretty good.
Word.
Not that that really matters, but like it's cool to see that.
Yeah, it's very cool.
It's
All right,
like
shit. Should we keep it going?
I don't know what else is on the list.
We got some dumb ones. They're not dumb, but they're they're just a little sketchier.
Reading and sitting in the park, I think, goes along with walking,
Yes.
and also even similarly tied to the new form of TikToks.
Yeah, and you know what I'll say? Sitting in the park is a great place to practice all of these.
Oh yeah,
Film,
for
photography, writing, drawing. You know, you could even do a podcast, dude. I would do a podcast in the park.
But and then watching TV and movies, but make it sacred.
That's what I wrote. I think, you know, in our society in this day and age, we can end up consuming content very unintentionally. It's like, so you're not even thinking about doing it, you're just doing it because it's what you do. So, and it's to the point where there's something really nice about putting your phone down, sitting on the couch, or going to the movie theater and watching a movie or a TV show. And when you're doing that, obviously you're consuming other people's art. But when you're not so fast-paced and rushed and scrolling through TikTok, you can really soak it in and appreciate the art and take inspiration, you know, similar to how we talked about those walks. You know, I love watching movies. They get me thinking about my whole life. They inspire me for, you know, things maybe I want to try in my videos. It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Also, just watching like I like to watch YouTube a lot. So I recently went through my subscription list and unsubscribed to like I think almost every single skateboarding channel that I was following, with the exception of a few and some friends. But and every time I come across like a channel that like looks like it could add some value to my life, I subscribe to it because for that reason, to be consuming more content that's more valuable instead of sitting down to watch some like random bullshit. Like I watch that. And also just like even if I don't watch it, like just when I see it on the subscription feed on YouTube, like it just feels better than seeing all these fucking skate videos with like giant red arrows pointing at a ledge or something.
Right.
And this ranges from like, you know, like meal prep videos, like food videos, to like that one dude that you sent me that long video about like creating. I don't remember.
Oh, that guy is awesome. I forgot his name.
I can't remember his name, but I really like his videos. I've been watching a few of them. Even like this home improvement guy. Oh, it's Ben Dagros.
Oh, really? You watch him?
Yeah. I like to watch his Vancouver Carpenter channel. And oh, George, I have some really exciting news, and I think I do want to share this with the podcast.
Whenever you're ready.
It's not super exciting, and it's not the craziest thing ever, and it was gonna happen a lot sooner, but it's happening. It's gonna be a little bit more longer now. So Kara and I are looking at houses, not to buy. We're gonna rent a small house,
Okay.
with a backyard and stuff like that, and we're looking for 2 bedrooms. Be nice to have an office to create and do all that type of stuff with. The thing I am so excited for is I'm gonna get into gardening.
Hell yeah, dude.
And I'm looking forward to it a lot, and I'm starting to look up videos on YouTube on like how to do that kind of thing. And I want to have like, you know, an herb garden, and then I also want to have like flowers and like pretty stuff. And that in my brain feels absolutely incredible.
That's
and
awesome.
The added bonus is I want to document it.
Hell yeah.
So that is, for anybody who cares about stuff like that, like that's going to be coming at some point. We sent in an application for a house yesterday. Unfortunately, there was 2 applicants, us and someone else, and they gave it to the other person. So, oh well, it was a great house, but we didn't get it, but we're going to keep looking for another one. But, dude, that's something that would have never crossed my mind if I would have still been stuck in this, algorithm chasing, skateboarding, YouTube dream type thing that I was too afraid to let go of. But now I'm allowing myself to accept anything that comes my way and make a decision if that's what I want to do or not. And it's allowing me to be like creatively free. And I fucking love it, dude. And this, like, the idea of something like that, like a garden, dude, like, god damn, like that's so fucking sick.
Gardening is creation.
Yeah, dude, I'm very excited.
And you just spoke to the importance of letting go. Dude, I'm having this, it's not really a predicament, but it's a thought. And by the way, for the listeners, we're kind of wrapped up with our list of creative things here, so this is a little bonus for listening to the whole episode. I'm questioning lately if I'm no longer a skateboarder.
Me too. I've been dealing with that as well in my brain. And I have we talked about this personally yet?
Not personally. I don't think so.
Yeah. Go ahead, man. Talk about it.
I think for most of my life I had a pretty unhealthy attachment to skateboarding. And I think that's what I thought being a skateboarder was. It was like needing to skate to be sane. And my priority was progression and things like that. And like now, you know, now it's no longer part of my career. I'm getting a lot of my exercise outside of skating. I'm skating like maybe once a week. I'm not consuming skating content. I don't know.
I hear you entirely, dude. and I don't know if I journaled about this or if I talked about it in an upcoming podcast. Oh, I know I talked about it in my setup video on YouTube. Yeah, we talked about this briefly. I told you that I don't know if I'm passionate about skating anymore.
Okay.
I will always love skateboarding. I love skating, but I haven't skated now in I think a month. Since I got back to San Francisco, I haven't skated, mostly because I didn't have a skateboard and I had to buy a whole new complete. I just set it up the other day and I'm excited to skate, but more so like in the way of like skating some flat or like tinkering around on like a dumb little obstacle. Like the idea of that seems way more fun than like really exerting myself in skating for progression. You know what I mean? I've also lately been having this like thought, like I would love to go on a skate trip, but like kind of like I love the idea of like a skate trip to film clips, but like a skate trip like that's not a skate trip.
Like more like to experience the travel and the friendships and the places.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know what you
which
mean.
I've been thinking about a lot lately, which I actually was going to talk to you about at some point. Maybe when we both feel like that's something we can do.
I would love to do that, dude.
I think we should. I would love to, even if it's just us. I mean, anybody else can come too. There's not really a. I'd love to just go somewhere that is cute. You know.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Dude, we should. I would love to do that like this summer, this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to do that. Just go skate and then, go hang out and then like, we can skate a little bit, but have that not be the reason for going on a trip. But what you're saying about not wanting, do you not want to identify with a skater, or are you just less and less identifying as a skater?
I think it's just happening. And I actually tweeted something that I think sums up how I've been feeling. I said, for many years, I've been putting on my skater costume, going to the skate park, and playing the role of skateboarder. Mm-hmm. I think what's happening is, like, when I was deep in my... Obviously, I started as a child, so I wasn't thinking about this sort of thing, but, I became deep in my identity as a skateboarder. That was who I was. I made these YouTube videos about skating. That was my career. That was my biggest passion. And slowly over time, I've started to see that was a thing that I was doing. It wasn't me.
Mm-hmm. I 100%.
And so I don't know. I don't have any like conclusive thoughts about if that's good or bad, but it's just kind of something I'm experiencing.
I feel you. I think that I like it. I think that I like it because I think my mind was so closed to so many things throughout my entire life. Oh, fuck, I don't have a hair tie. Throughout my entire life that it didn't allow me to experience new or cool things, and it I think it hindered my progression as like an individual.
Right.
Because I always thought, no, I'm a skater. You know what I mean? Like, and then I became a vegan skater, and then I wanted to identify as a vegan who's a skater. And then I remember when I dropped my vegan wood pusher Instagram, I was like, I don't want to be a vegan who's a skater. I want to be a skater who's a vegan. But then I was still having an unhealthy attachment to who I was or who I wanted to be. And I don't want to be a vegan. I don't want to be, I'm going to be vegan, but I don't want to be a vegan. I don't want to be a skater. I also don't want to be a podcaster. I don't want to be a journaler. I don't want to be a person who draws. I don't necessarily even want to be an artist or a creator of some sort. I also don't love the term creator. But anyway, maybe we can talk about that another time. But anyway,
yeah,
I just want to be me, dude. And I feel like that is like the most meaningful thing of all, because that means that I can be anything.
Right. And when you don't tie to identities like skater, vegan, artist, whatever. Although I like artist because it's very open, but when you don't,
artist might be one of the better ones, yeah.
Right. When you don't tie to these identities, I think maybe something happens psychologically when you tie to these identities that you do close off to other things that can really benefit you and be fulfilling,
Yeah, for sure.
It's interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, dude, I got the Artist Way right in front of me, and I haven't even started reading it, but I feel like I already am like in it. You know what I mean? In terms of like what the book's going to show to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's been heavy in my subconscious since I read it, and I think the ideas are coming out in all of these podcasts. And then we're riffing off of each idea. So I think you're gonna see a lot of parallels in that book to what we have been talking about.
Fuck yeah, dude! I'm excited. But do you want to wrap up or?
Yeah, let's wrap up, man. You know, I love this conversation. I wanna encourage you all to try all these creative hobbies. They feel so good, and they can help you kind of find yourself and allow yourself to be free and maybe let go of some identities you've been holding on to, or let go of some limiting beliefs.
100%. Stop hating on people who wear Cariumas. But I guess if we are going to wrap up, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our patrons. Thanks for supporting Brian, Evan, and Hayden, I believe.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you guys, and I'm looking forward to that monthly Zoom call, which we'll be setting up soon.
Yep, sometime in April.
Yeah, and if you are currently not a member of our Patreon, I encourage you to do so if you want to support us in some way, or if you just want to hop on these monthly Zoom calls.
Yeah. And we always, we love hearing feedback from patrons. So if you guys ever want to tell us what you want to hear on the podcast, or anyone else, leave a comment. But we'll listen to the patrons a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure, without a doubt. I think there can be a lot of interesting conversations that can be had. Because when I listen to a podcast, I'm like, oh fuck, I want to say something about that. But I can't.
Yeah,
That's
man. Cool. Next week we're gonna be talking about how to tell whether the people in your life are NPCs or main characters. So,
which is something that you and I have gone into heavy.
That's right. So, if you guys have any questions about that, leave it in the comments, send us an email, whatever, and make sure you subscribe.
Fuck yeah. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting us through this journey.
Cool. All right. Take care, y'all.
Peace out, y'all.